Welcome back to The Zone, Green Sports Zone, that is. No longer Grassroots Media, as you know. If you've not seen yet, we've got a full post about it on all of our socials, so go check that out. We've merged with Radio Greenville and WGRV to bring you even more of the best sports coverage throughout Greene County, but you know what you're here for. You're here for the Haun and Sauce Show out here at the Buddy with head coach Adrian Sauceman for the Malone Trekker Service Haun and Sauce Show, presented by Critters Corner. We're not with Haun this week, though.
Yeah, I don't see him. He's not hiding anywhere.
No, he's not hiding anywhere.
It's hard for him to hide. The Zone, that's a nice little nickname for it there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I like that.
We usually get about one of these every year without Haun, where we've got to split it up. But the good thing is, yes. The good thing is it's usually during this time of the year during playoffs. And I think that's good, though, because that means everybody's focused. Everybody's got their own thing going on. I know your postseason started last night, and we'll get into it in just a minute, talk about the game in full. But being one day through the postseason so far, how excited are you?
Pretty excited. Yeah, I mean, it's this time of year, it's always stressful and exciting. So there's a lot of different emotions play into it. You just got to try to stay level-headed.
We'll go back through the three games before that. When we sat down last week and previewed these three, we talked about how you bunched three of your toughest games of the year at the tail end of your regular season schedule with three 3A opponents. You had Carter, then you had Elizabethton on Friday, and then finished up with Granger on Monday, originally scheduled to be Morristown East and changed to Granger. You got a win over Carter, who at the time was ranked number 8 in Class 3A. Played a very competitive game with Elizabethton, who at the time was ranked 7th in Class 3A, and then held your own against Granger also. Take me through that three-game stretch and how you think you did in those games.
Yeah, I thought that was a very important stretch for us. And Tuesday's practice before playing last night, we talked about it, and I told the boys that I got what I wanted to see out of those games. We won one. I'd like to have won 2 or 3 for sure, but we won the one against Carter, and it was a really big win. And they threw their guy at us too, and he's been really good all year long. And we were able to put up 4 on him, and that was just enough. And we go to Elizabethton, and it's always a really good team. And this year's no different. And in that game, we're 2-1 in the 6th inning, and it's 2 strikes, 2 outs on a batter, and he flares one in the gap, and they scored 2 off of it. So, you lose either way, but 2-1 feels better than 4-1. But we played really well that game, and obviously the Carter game before. And then Monday, like I said, we were supposed to go to East. They had to make up a game with West. I think it was in the district matchup. So I was able to find Granger. They were, I don't know if they were looking for a game or not, but they took one. And same kind of situation as Elizabeth. We were down 3-2 going to the 6th in that one, and things got away from us a little bit and ended up beating us 8-2. So those were 3 good teams, and I wanted to see us go in and compete against them, hold our own, not back down from anything, and see good pitching, see good defense, see good hitters, and we saw all that. And I definitely think it's helped prepare us for where we're at right now.
And then going through last night's game, 18-0 win over Happy Valley in your District 1 2A opener. I know you didn't get a lot of hits in. You lived off of a lot of errors, a lot of walks, a few hit by pitches, but you have that big grand slam by Braden McCamey, and then you're able to put 6 up and go up 10-0, where you just pretty much have to hold that lead until you get to the run rule limit, and you end up putting more on to win 18-0. How happy were you with the win last night over Happy Valley?
Yeah, that was big. Come on in, Jake. You ain't got to try to hide. Big Jake Green, or DH right there, senior. Rocking these blue jeans and boots today. Anyway, so we only had 6 hits in that game. But I felt like every plate appearance, with the exception of probably 5 for the whole game, I felt like it was a quality at bat. And that's what you need. I don't care how they get on base, whether it's a hit, a walk, get hit. I don't care what it is. Just get on base. That's the thing that we try to preach. Our batting averages this year are not very good. Our on base percentage, 7 of our 9 are above 400, which is pretty good. And I got a couple of them that's up there, high 5s, and I think Braden's floating around 6. So, we found pretty much every way to get on base last night, and we certainly needed it, and that was really big for me to see. We got that early lead, we pushed it up to 10-0, and we didn't stop there. We kept going. You got to keep your foot on the gas, especially it gets tournament time. And it's not that you're trying to run a score up on anybody, and they understand that as well. You're just trying to save pitching. You get into situations like this where you're going to play in another day or two, you got to save as many bullets as you can save. And I thought it was a really mature approach from our guys last night, and I was glad to see that.
And then you think back to other scenarios that I'm sure you've been a part of too. One that I think back to whenever you mention that is 2 years ago when Johnson County came out of nowhere to win the district championship. I believe they were down 4-0 against Chucky Doak late in that game. Chucky Doak left so many runners stranded in that game, and they ended up losing maybe 6-4 in that game because of a grand slam hit. So you never want to let off the gas.
The year that you're talking about, we played them in the first round here, and we had about a 4 or 5 run lead on them, and they come back and beat us here at our place.
Johnson County?
On their way to winning the championship, yeah. So I know full well what you're talking about.
One of the hits early in the game that everybody knows about, that I'm sure everybody wants to hear about too, you had the grand slam from Braden McCamey. How big was it for him to have a moment like that, not only in the district tournament, but here at home in one of his last games at the Buddy in the district tournament?
Well, he's lucky. We moved the fences in about 50 feet before the game. We just wanted to make sure that we try to get one out this year.
Give yourself a little advantage.
Yeah, and it was the wind's probably pushing out 50, 60 miles an hour. We probably should have stopped the game. It was blowing out so hard, but he got it up in the jet stream and it just carried. It wasn't really anything he did. It was just all circumstance around him.
I mean, sometimes you just get lucky like that.
Yeah,
sometimes it's not the bat or the swing; it's just everything else involved.
Yeah, he hit it well. He told Mark Brooks this last night too. He didn't include it in his article, but I'll go ahead and throw it out here for him. We were having live BP Tuesday, and we're gonna have it again today. And Martin's about shot. I've 12 years of BP is catching up to me pretty quickly, but he cranked one out to right center on me there Tuesday. So I guess he felt like it was coming. So he wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that. And then that one last night, it was perfect the way, we come out and we throw it pretty well in the top of the first. Connor gets on with a single, get hit, and it's first pitch to Braden right there. And in a span of probably 3 or 4 minutes, we're up 4-0. That was just huge, and you could just see their heads are just spinning at that point because we pounced on them that quick, and it was great to see, and that certainly carried us through obviously the rest of the game too. So.
You keep a record book of everything at West Cream within the baseball program, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Here's something you need to look at after the season. You had 10 hit by pitches last night.
I don't know that we've ever had more.
Have you ever also had a game where you had more hit by pitches than hits?
I don't
just
think so.
Hits in general. I mean, you had 10 walks last night, which a lot of times you'll have double-digit walk games.
We've drew a lot of walks this year.
But rarely ever do you have 10 hit by pitches and have more hit by pitches than hits.
Well, rarely do you put up 6 hits and score 18 runs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting game, and they certainly helped us out, but our guys didn't help them out at all, and I was glad to see them. We didn't go chasing crap just because we're not getting the hit and stuff like that. Like I said, it was pretty mature approaches, and I was glad to see that.
A pretty interesting stat also, this is something that you don't see a lot too. Of course, there were a lot of errors, a lot of hit by pitches last night, which will factor into this. You only had 6 hits total, but every player that got into the game scored a run.
Yeah.
You had 10 players that ended up getting into the game and running on the base paths, and you had 18 runs throughout all those 10. So how cool was it to have everybody be able to score in that type of game?
Yeah, I think it's the second time we've done that this year. Of course, this one's a big one. It's district and a tournament. It puts you in a position where you win one more game, you're in the championship and the regionals. So it's definitely the biggest spot that it's happened. But it's a cool thing just to see everybody get involved like that. 1 through 9. Plus, we brought in Christian to hit, killed the DH spot. Sorry, Jake. We brought Christian in right there in that last inning to get him in at bat, and I think he drew a walk and he came around to score. So that's good.
last question I'll have for you on the first half. I think I asked you about it last week, but you have the new two-pod system this year, and a lot of people are they were questioning how it was going to work and how it would be conducted, and last night it ended up going really well. You had your games in here that went through fine. You had Chucky Doke's games that went through fine. A little bit of a lightning delay in both of them, but ended up getting everything in. How much did you enjoy being able to host in that two-pod system last night?
I love hosting games. Just having an opportunity to watch other teams and kind of stressful, or not have as much stress on you while you're just watching them. Now, a little bit different when knowing that you're playing right after. It'll be different tonight than it was last night.
Yeah.
Because last night, we're trying to go through and we're trying to get prepared. We split them into groups as far as hitting in the cage, and just trying to watch the game, but also stay prepared for our game. Tonight, we have practice here in a few minutes, and then we just get to sit back and watch, and I like that. But I like the system. Pretty much everybody I've talked to has liked it as well. There's a couple bugs I think we might need to work out for next year. It's the first year we've done it like this, so. But I think it's worked out pretty well so far.
You get to host a couple more also. You've got action today, but you don't play today. You'll play on Friday. So we'll talk about that in just a minute, though. But as always, even though we're no longer Grassroots Media, we still got to pay the bills. We still got sponsors to thank. So we'll be right back after this commercial break to talk about the rest of the district tournament here on Green Sports Zone.
Greene County, when the game's on the line, you need a team you can trust. Just like your favorite players on the field, Bailey Heating, Air, and Electrical has been showing up for over 30 years, delivering top-notch service to our hometown. We're just not your local experts, we're your neighbors, committed to keeping your home comfortable all year long. Call now at 423-636-8409 to become a member with us and get a heating inspection before winter comes.
Life's better with Bailey.
For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference.
At Terry's Flooring, we have quality products along with quality installers that can make your space look better than ever before. The craftsmanship that our installers bring to the job site is unmatched. Along with the great installers, we have a huge selection of hardwood, LVP, tile, and carpet. We know that spending money isn't that easy, but at Terry's Flooring, we care about your money too. Stop on in and see my Popsy at Terry's Flooring and allow him to save you money while enjoying the hassle-free experience.
Welcome back to Green Sports Zone. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Malone Trucker Service Haun and Sauce Show, presented by Critters Corner, where we cover everything out here on the diamond with the West Green baseball and softball teams. But just have baseball head coach Adrian Sauceman here with us this week. I don't think I shook your hand in the first half.
I don't think you did either.
My bad, man.
Yeah,
it's new. Trying to get used to this Green Sports Zone transition.
You're not in the zone yet.
No, I'm not in the zone yet. We're in the zone, but I'm not in the zone. Yeah. But I know you're in the zone right now. You've got the district tournament here we talked about in the back half with Happy Valley. At the moment, you don't know who you play just yet. You'll have Happy Valley and Johnson County traveling down here to play today on the Buddy, and then you'll figure out who you play tomorrow on Friday and determine if you advance to the district championship game to be played either or here or Chucky Doke. Still a lot in the air at the moment, but take us through today's game and what you can expect out of both of those teams in Johnson County and Happy Valley.
They've both saved two pretty good pitchers, which I think for them that's how you had to play it. You got to save one for tomorrow too.
It's a tough time.
You got to go all in on today, because if you don't, there is no tomorrow. But you also have to have somebody to be able to throw tomorrow as well. So I'm glad that we're in the position that we're in, and I don't have to worry about that. I hate to say it like that, but I like sitting in this seat a whole lot better than having to play tonight. That said, Yeah, that game ended up 14-2 last night. Happy Valley come out and swung it. They jumped on them early in second inning. I think they scored 4. And then they kind of kept piling on, and in the sixth inning, they scored 6 or 7, I believe it was. They really kind of finished the game off right there. I would be surprised if it was another 12-run game like that. I think it could go either way. I think Happy Valley's probably a little bit better team, top to bottom, but I think they're evenly matched. And just because we beat Happy Valley 18-0 last night, that's a quality team.
Yeah, it does
still
not mean that they're going to come out and put up that same showing.
And baseball is such a day-to-day game. We could go out there tomorrow and see a completely different version of them or of Johnson County if that's who we play. So you really can't take too much into one particular game, especially in tournament time with pitching situations and stuff. So it'll be a tough test for us, whoever we get on Friday. And then hopefully we can finish that off and move on to the championship on Saturday.
And with that, something that we mentioned last week is win 2 before you lose 2. We've got to mention that every show once it turns over to the postseason. And you've won 1, so at the moment, just need 1 more to end up making it to the region tournament. I know that's something that you want to do because I don't believe you've ever had a senior class make it to the region tournament all 4 years. So these 3 seniors or 4 seniors have the opportunity to do something that no other senior class has been able to do, and you all are 1 win away.
Well, they've already accomplished a lot that this senior class, that previous senior classes have not done. We've never made 3 in a row either. So these guys have already accomplished that. And, I think they've won 67 games now. I think that's what it is, and that's more than anybody else. And at this point, they're just kind of adding to that legacy. But there's still a lot of big things out there that we want to try to accomplish, and that's kind of the guiding force. And we talked about it last night. You won 18-0 in a first-round district game. That's great. Combined no-hitter, grand slam, all these really good things. Everybody writes good things about you. Everybody talks good about you. That's great. The job's not done. Job's not done. We got to get out here and have a great day of practice today. Get ready to get after it tomorrow because it all starts again tomorrow.
It's such a great win that I forgot to even mention that it was a combined no-hitter. I mean, you had 3 pitchers that went out there and shoved and ended up producing a no-hitter for you. How cool was that?
Pretty cool. That's the first one that we've had since I've been coaching. Chance Lamb had one 2010, 2011, something like that. I think that's the only one that Bowles ever had either. So that's you're talking about
it's rare
27 years right there, and you've had 2 games where you threw a no-hitter. Ours was combined, but it's pretty special, especially in a tournament game too. And that's cool.
Something else that's special, we've talked about this senior class and the things that they've done that no other programs have done. There's a lot of things left on the table, as you mentioned, but one that I've been paying attention to is they're approaching rarefied air again, where they've got the opportunity to get 20 wins if they advance to the region tournament, which I don't think you've ever had a class have 2 or more 20-win seasons.
Well,
you've only had 2, I believe, right?
There's
3.
2 20-win seasons in the history of the program.
That's what I thought.
2018 and last year.
Yeah.
We're 1 win away right now, so that's a big deal too.
Another one that you look at too that's in reach also is 22 wins last year was the single season record. So a lot of things left on the table, but I know for you there's only one thing on your mind at the moment. That's Johnson County and Happy Valley today, to see who you end up playing on Friday with that chance to advance to the district championship and the region tournament. There's a lot on the table at this time of the year, but that's what makes it exciting.
Yep.
It's exciting to talk about positive things and what can happen instead of talking about if this happens, then this happens. You're already in the driver's seat, putting yourself in that position to advance to the district championship. Hopefully we sit down next week and we're talking about the region tournament. But, Coach, enjoy the rest of the day. I know rarely ever you get to watch a game and not have to play that day at the Buddy.
I had a dad joke for you last week.
The Malone Trekker one?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it this week.
Yeah.
Almost.
Well, I didn't know if you want to continue.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, it's still a Malone Trekker service.
Well, so. I had a good joke about, I had a joke about paper, but I decided not to tell it. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm going to get out of here on that one. Give us one time since Haun ain't here.
Cheer up, boys. It's Friday.
Coach, it's all I've got for you.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy
Yeah.
tomorrow. Hopefully talk about the region tournament next week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Malone's Record Service Haun and Sauce Show, presented by Critters Corner. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Green Sports Zone.